Hey guys, it's Scott from Horse Race Though. And this past weekend we had the three major preps being ran: the Bluegrass, the Wood Memorial, and the Santa Anita Derby. I had some winners out of that race, so there's gonna be a big shakeup in the top five this weekend. Let's get right on into it. And coming at number five is gonna be Catching Freedom, and he bumps down a spot from last week's top five, and it is the winner of the Louisiana Derby. It's trained by Brad Cox. Uh, Not a really big fan of his running style, as he's going to come from the back of the pack. And in the Kentucky Derby, I like to see somebody a little more tactical speed. Some negatives. He lost to Sierra Leone in the Risen Star. And I think to win the Kentucky Derby, he's going to have to take another step forward. Not to say he can't. Any horse that has Brad Cox in their corner, you don't want to discount. But, just the fact that he's got to take that step forward. And there's a few others that I like a little bit more. I'll leave him at number five for now. And come at number four is going to be Resilience. And I put Resilience ahead of Catching Freedom, even though Resilience beat Catching Freedom beat Resilience in the Risen Star. Is I think Resilience is an improving horse. They put blinkers on him for the Wood Memorial, and he won that race. And I know it wasn't the best field in the world. He had Society Man coming second, I think at 106 to 1 odds. And Deterministic was a heavy favorite in that race and didn't really do much running at all. But when it comes to Derby, I think Bill Mott's a decent trainer. Had recent success with Country House and Tastus as far as getting up there in the top four. And I think Resilience could be another horse that's improving at the right time. And that tactical speed, he's not going to have to pass as many horses making that trip in the Derby. And if there's another move forward, this horse could certainly right there at the Superfecta. And who knows, could very even win the race. But just given his running style, and I feel that he's improving. I had to put him at number four. And coming at number three, and I just want to say that from the 4 and 5 to the 3, 2, and 1, I feel like there's a hard line right there. Like you have the you got your top three, and then it's kind of like everybody else, if that makes sense. But cut number three is Forever Young, and this horse won the Saudi Derby and the UAE Derby, and this is kind of the horse where if you don't want to back a Fierceness or Sierra Leone, Forever Young kind of is that other horse that is undefeated and has all the hype coming from Japan. And I think it's only a matter of time for when the Japanese horses win the Kentucky Derby. And this he just kind of gives you that new shoe. You see some races where the prep's on the way and you don't like certain horses, but you see other horses kind of ship over, and you're like, I want to take a chance with that horse, because maybe these other horses haven't done it. And I think Forever Young could be that horse. One of the negatives with him, I think, come Kentucky Derby, is going to be a little bit overbet. And given the from what he showed, like there's not been that race that he's drew off and won by 10 or 11 lengths. He didn't have that fierceness in the Florida Derby romp. And in a way that's almost something I think people would like to see, give a little more confidence back in the horse. uh I said before, I think the UAE Derby is more of a speed bias track. And I think Forever Young being wide around both turns and closing to a track that historically is played good to speed, I thought that was a very impressive effort. And the Saudi Derby, I think this horse wants to go a mile and a quarter, and a mile is not really the horse's, ideal distance. And so I think the two wins are better than they look at face value. But this horse could certainly show up at the Kentucky Derby and run off the board like some of the other Japanese horses and UAE Derby runners. And what can you say? Like another one bites the dust. But this horse could also run up and win, and say, well, Forever Young was undefeated coming in, and you've seen Japanese horses win other races. Why can't they win the Kentucky Derby? But that being said, we get on to number two, and for number two, I bumped Fierceness up. And he does have that good race, bad race pattern, and he ran the good race in the Florida Derby. So if he keeps it up, this should be the dud. But that Florida Derby is very impressive, and let's just say that's kind of a overhyped thing. There could be an excuse. The first race back is a 3-year-old. That was just a beginning to the means for this race. And I don't care what the connections say. I don't buy that the bumping at the start cost that horse the Holy Bull. I don't think the horse was fit. I don't, I think there was other reason why that horse didn't fire his best effort. I do think the Florida Derby, you got the real fierceness. And but just that doubt of inconsistency, from the two races that he's ran, it's just been it's been terrible. And it's going to be a short price, probably 3 to 1, 5 to 2, somewhere in that range. If you're lucky, you might can see 4 to 1. And that being said, it's tough given the inconsistency to try to put your money on a horse like that. And I've thought about ways to bet this horse in the Kentucky Derby, because you almost kind of damn if you do, damn if you don't for putting this horse in there. And It's I say if you're playing pick fours, pick fives, pick sixes, certainly if you got the money, I think people like to have a bigger budget on Kentucky Derby Day. Put this horse in there. Don't leave him off. But if you're doing just like regular win bets and stuff like that, you might can get by, or at least I wouldn't do just a sole win bet on this horse. Let's just say that much. But if you're exotics and you know your bets that could pay, life changing payouts. Don't leave them off if you can afford it. And coming at number one is Sierra Leone, and Fierceness is the flashy. I think Fierceness is the he's the flashier of the horse, but Sierra Leone's the consistency. The Bluegrass winner, Risen Star winner. Even the Remsen wasn't a bad effort, but the horse is still figuring out along the way. And Chad Brown is never too bad when it comes to Derby horses, and I don't like that the horse is a closer. That's more traffic trouble for the Kentucky Derby. And I'll say, in recent years, horses that speed figures haven't, been a step above the pack. Like think of, Epicenter, Essential Quality, horses like that have been good, but their speed figures don't stand out. You see that extra distance and everything in the ground, the added ground just like look, Essential Quality got fourth, but really probably ran a first place effort off, his effort, and then Epicenter kind of did all the dirty work and got passed by Rich Strike at the wire, and just it's kind of like you see a horse like Sierra Leone, and you see what's happened to all these other horses, and it's like is history going to repeat itself again? And that part kind of makes a little nervous. But if there's one horse in the Kentucky Derby, I think you could probably safely build your bets around. I feel like Sierra Leone's a safer bet to finish in the top three or top four. And you take that and maybe a couple of your longer shot picks get in there, you could have a decent payday, especially if Fierceness runs off the board. Or if you want to get real greedy and box Fierceness and Sierra Leone exactly, you could hope that you get a good matchup between the flashy Fierceness and the consistent steady Sierra Leone. It's just however you want to do it. But I do think Sierra Leone is the most consistent horse, but definitely not without some kinks in the armor. And that's my top five for the week. Thanks for watching.